The two best words in sports. Game 7.
That's it. It's all the marbles. I'm sitting in the house, I'm loading up the pump. I'm loading up the Uzi. I got a couple of M16s, a couple 9s. I got a couple joints with some silencers on them. I'm just loading up clips, a couple grenades. Got a missile launcher with a couple, missiles. I'm ready for war.
The NBA finally cooked up for us and gave us 2 Game 7s in the same day with the Knicks versus the Pacers and the T-Wolves against the Nuggets. 2 series mainly overshadowed by blowouts might finally give us some classics to go to the conference finals. There's a lot that's happened throughout both matchups, so let's see how we got here from the later part of these series. The first team to force a Game 7 was Minnesota. The biggest headline leading up to this game was how bad Rudy Gobert was guarding Jokic in the previous few games. Gobert rightfully received some heavy slander after his Game 5 performance defending Nikola Jokic, but Game 6 the T-Wolves got back to what I thought was the best way to defend him, sticking Cat on the Joker and Rudy on Aaron Gordon to roam around the rim. Minnesota played the percentages with Aaron Gordon's perimeter shots, but they also made a few small tweaks that made a huge difference. The first one being doubling Jokic from the top and rotating. Whether it was a delayed double like here or just a straight up blitz to the post, Minnesota did a terrific job of rotating on the perimeter. Here again, Ant goes to double Jokic from the top, McDaniels goes to Murray, and Mike Conley comes up from the corner to contest the 3. But here they do it and Denver does a nice job getting some movement going and Ant is too slow on his recovery and gives up a 3. But overall they did a nice job throughout this game. The next adjustment was having the big guarding Jokic on the pick and roll stay attached to him to prevent him getting in short roll situations. They started the game really locked in on this game plan, but as time went on they kinda got away from it. I really think this is the best way to combat Jokic's ability in that short roll, because if they are in drop coverage and lose him, he is not going to consistently miss these wide open looks. And another thing is that Denver just straight up missed a bunch of shots. They shot 18% on wide open 3s. They were wide open for 22 of their 36 threes, which means they made only 4 of their 22 wide open 3s in this game. I can sit here and break down all the Minnesota defensive film that I want, but the Nuggets got good shots despite the adjusted scheme the T-Wolves threw at them. I personally don't expect the Nuggets to shoot that bad again, but who knows if they're going to get that many open looks in Game 7. Offensively, the biggest adjustment that I seen from the T-Wolves was from Anthony Edwards. Denver killed him by either blitzing or doubling him on nearly every pick and roll, and even without screens in games 4 and 5. Ant did a very bad job with being aggressive even when he was blitzed, and his timing was off when Denver went in that direction. But Game 6 he called a lot less screens to go more one-on-one to prevent those doubles. He attacked the help a lot better as well and made the right play nearly every time. And even when he was in pick and roll actions, he got the ball out quick as if he was expecting this time what Denver would throw at him. Here he doesn't rush to use the screen from Gobert and retreat dribbles back to get more space. Then he wisely dumps it to Rudy on the slip, which creates a 4-on-3 and an open shot in the corner. Here Jokic brings a hard hedge and KCP is laid on the wall and Ant makes the right play again. The last thing I noticed in this game is this specific action from Minnesota. Cat sets 2 screens back to back for Mike Conley to get the switch and play out of that. Here you see that first screen, then the one immediately after to get Murray switch onto Towns. The Nuggets have to double and Ant gets to the free throw line. Here again the same thing, but this time MPJ has already left his man to rotate and Cat makes a smart skip pass and one more to Rudy for the dunk. They ran that play multiple times to stretch their lead and slow the game down, so I'm really curious to see how much they go to that in Game 7. This do or die game tonight in my opinion will be a dogfight between 2 teams who have continuously changed their game plans to adjust to each other. But for the matchup on the East Coast, it comes down to some things much more simpler than scheme. The Pacers forced this Game 7 with the Knicks by once again taking care of business at home. I don't know what it is, but the contrast between them at home compared to them on the road is really confusing to me. During the early part of the series, both teams were feeling each other out, which is expected in the playoffs, but we're now at the point where both teams have just been straight up inconsistent. But mainly the Pacers stars, Siakam and Halliburton have had times where they shy away from the moments and aren't aggressive. That wasn't the case this game, as both of them came out from the tip aggressive and looking to put pressure on the Knicks defense. The Pacers' only chance in Game 7 and potentially the Eastern Conference Finals is with Halliburton and Siakam both putting the game in their hands and not deferring too much to their other teammates. You see here he attacks the help early and multiple times to get Siakam the easy look at the rim. Because when he and the Pacer guards go downhill, they see the most success by doing that. Here he attacks the closeout again, and that's an advantage for their 5-out offense because their big can make threes like this. Again, he gets downhill and draws 3 bodies in the paint to eventually get Miles Turner to the free throw line. And Siakam was very smart and selective with the spots he got to, which was in that mid-post area. But for the Knicks, Brunson hit a wall in this game that was very interesting to see. The Pacers threw everything at him: switches, blitzes, hard hedges, double teams, you name it, the Pacers guarded Brunson that way. They doubled him here to get the ball out of his hands at half court. But then later, the guy guarding the screener, which was usually a big, would hard hedge on him to get the ball out. Or with either guard to guards or wings to wings, they would just switch the screens and throw bodies at him. You see here they guard to guard switch the screen, and Nembhard doesn't bite for any pump fakes and stays down to force a miss. But here Toppin hedges the screen, and watch how Indiana collapses on him in the paint. This is the first half alone, and you see how many different coverages Jalen Brunson saw as he missed 11 straight shots to finish the half. The Pacers do have 2 defenders they can rely on for Brunson, which makes these coverages much more effective. The main one being Aaron Nesmith, as you see JB has only shot 37% against him in this series. But overall, this Game 7 outcome isn't as complex to me as the Twolves Nuggets one. It's literally going to come down to how aggressive the Pacers stars are and how many shots the others around Jalen Brunson make, because they will have wide open looks the entire game. JB is too crafty to get stuck in crowds like he did in Game 6, so I don't expect that to happen the entire game again, but if Indiana continues to mix it up like they did in Game 6, I really like their chances. And the health of Josh Hart and OG Anunoby is also a deciding factor in who could win this game. Everyone knows how many minutes Hart has played in the past few months, and it might have finally caught up to him as he barely played in Game 6 with an abdominal injury. It's being reported that both Hart and OG will play, but as to how healthy they are, we'll just have to see. But for both of these matchups, they genuinely might be a toss-up. I tweeted before the second round my predictions, so I guess I have to stick with my gut and go with the T-Wolves and the Knicks. I'm a lot more confident in Minnesota because of the scheme adjustments they made, but for the Knicks and Pacers, I have no idea which version of the Pacers stars we're going to get and which defensive game plan we'll get from them either. And in a one-game scenario, I am more confident in Brunson than I am in Siakam or Halliburton, so we'll just have to see. It's also a lot of history in these Game 7s in both matchups. The Knicks and Pacers have played in 2 Game 7s in the 90s against each other, and for Minnesota, it is actually the 20-year anniversary of the last time they were in a Game 7, which was in 2004 against the Kings. Let me know in the comments who you guys got in these huge Game 7s. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the conference finals. Peace.